Today we're going to be testing out the Canon M50 out in the beautiful Nevada mountains. You've started your adventure. Now you have a story to tell. But how? This is your show, RV Media Creators. I'm Garrett, and in this community, we will show you how. So let's show the world your story. I attempted to do a review of the Canon M50 yesterday, but I had some issues and I wasn't too happy with how it turned out. So I decided I'm going to test this out, doing an activity and a hike. So come along with me as I tell you more about this Canon M50, my thoughts on it, and how you can use this on your adventures. So just a little bit about this camera. The Canon M50 comes in at about $500 with a lens, and I would highly suggest that you find a package that includes a microphone so that you can have better audio. Now this does have a 24.2 megapixel CMOS sensor, and it is not a full frame sensor, it's a 3:2 aspect ratio, but it's a very good sensor, especially for the camera that it is. It does have dual pixel autofocus, which I really appreciate. The only downside is when you're shooting in 4K, you cannot use that. So if you're trying to shoot in 4K, I suggest you use manual settings. Let's talk about resolutions. The Canon M50 can shoot in 4K, but it can only shoot at 24 frames a second. For certain settings, it's just fine. You can also shoot at 1080p at 60 frames a second, and you can also go down to 120 frames at 720p. You do have the ability to use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I use this function a lot when I'm doing my live streams, as it allows me to control my settings manually without having to touch my camera. It does have a flip out screen, which is also fantastic, and I absolutely love having the ability to frame my shot up when it's facing a different direction. Now, the reason I brought you along with me on this hike was I wanted to demonstrate some of the cool features that you can use this with. We're gonna do a time-lapse video, which can be shot in 4K, some slow-mo footage, so you can see that, and then walk around and talk here in the park. Join me as I have a little bit of an adventure here at Crystal Peak Park in Nevada. One of the things I absolutely love about this camera is the ability to set things on automatic. This is absolutely crucial when you're a new beginner on cameras and you don't fully understand apertures, shutter speeds, ISO, and all that kind of jazz. What this allows you to do is you can walk into something like shade and it'll automatically adjust and bring you back up. Now you notice the background is washed out, but you are not. This is absolutely awesome. Also, this camera has built-in stabilization. It's not super amazing like Rocksteady or some of the GoPro stabilizations. What it allows you to do is it does take some of the bumps out and make your videos a lot more watchable. Me walking shows you really what you can do with this kind of camera, and it's not super heavy, so when you are walking, it is not going to weigh down your arms or cause you to lose all feeling in your hands because you're trying to hold it up. There's definitely some amazing areas around here. So let's show you some of the different camera settings that you have on this camera. One of my favorite is shooting at 60 frames a second. What this allows me to do is I can slow the video down by half and make it a nice slow-mo video. It's not super crazy like 120 frames, which is basically 4 times normal speed, but it is pretty awesome. So I will definitely show you that. Please excuse my chubbiness and my out of fitness. You can see right there how easy it is to slow it down and make it look pretty awesome. Now that I almost cracked my ankles, this camera also comes with different types of lenses that you can attach. There are a few different lenses that are made natively for the M50, but you can also get an adapter that allows you to use all full frame Canon lenses. That's about a $200, $300 adapter. If you already have a lot of Canon lenses because you do pictures and stuff, this is a great option. Hopefully that was interesting. You have a few different options when you're doing time-lapse videos, and they all have to do with intervals and all that kind of stuff. Let's say you were filming like clouds moving or some really slow moving objects. Set it for slow, like option 2 or 3, I think it is. It'll take about 45 minutes to do a time lapse. You have kind of like an intermediary, and then you have like a quick one. So like people walking, cars driving, things like that. That's the setting you saw now. What I liked about that one was it only took about 10 minutes to do that time lapse. It took a picture about every 1 second, which is pretty good. Go ahead and walk back to the truck. I'm kind of testing 2 cameras during this outing. The second one is my GoPro Hero 8 Black, which I just got it in today. So I'm testing it out, seeing how I like it. So far, I'm pretty impressed. I plan on doing a collaboration video with Nursing Our Travel Bug because they got the Osmo Action, which is the DJI's equivalent to the GoPro Hero 8. Now let's go ahead and look at some of the menu settings. There's a ton of options you have available in the menus of this Canon M50. What I really like about it is it has a beginner mode and an advanced manual mode. When you are just getting started, set it into auto mode, pick a frame rate, and go. It's that simple. You turn it on, you go. If you have some experience and you're learning more about the camera, I like to change it more to manual mode so that I have better control over the picture. Let's quickly go through some of the menus and you'll be able to see what this camera has to offer. All right, when you first get your camera, it'll look somewhat like this. This is your guided access. Your menu button, you go back, and it gives you the ability to easily configure your shooting modes. Now, I prefer to have my menus onto the standard menu. This is what Canon uses on all their menus on their cameras. This gives you a lot more options as far as your recording modes. These are all the different options you have. And then you have the ability to go to frame rate, and that goes 120 frames. You have the ability to change your audio recording to manual or auto, or you can turn the audio recording off. And then you have all your different exposure settings, white balance, autofocus. There's just tons of menu items here. Now, one menu item that I like to do is I come right up here and I choose my mode, and you can choose it to auto exposure or manual exposure. I like to do a manual exposure so that I can have the control myself, and when I have it set where I want, I can leave it and it doesn't change. That is my take on this Canon M50. I absolutely love this camera. It is a great starter camera, especially for those wanting to get a little more serious about making videos and making content. This is awesome. You can also take some pretty cool photos, and I'll show you some of these now. This camera has a lot of potential. There's tons of options for you as a camera. There are other options out there that some of them are just as good, if not better. The more money you spend, probably the better camera quality you'll get. If you are just starting out and starting to get some traction on YouTube, I would highly suggest your next logical step be a Canon M50. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember, I'm Garrett, and I'm gonna help you tell your story. Bye.